Let's talk some physical media with my first Blu-ray haul of 2026, everything that I got in January. I've got 17 movies and one season of a TV show. Let's jump right into it. This is a good chance to talk about some older stuff rather than just the new releases, and of course, celebrate Blu-ray and 4K and all that stuff. So, we got a couple movie collections that I grabbed on sale. First of all, The Matrix Deja Vu collection. This is all four of them. Wish it included the Animatrix. I don't have that. But this is all the live action stuff. The first one, obviously, just one of the best movies ever. It's incredible. The only thing I can say against it is that the romance between Neo and Trinity is pretty rushed and bland, but it doesn't matter. It obviously revolutionized action. Everybody was ripping off The Matrix for I don't even know how long, and just it's incredible still to this day. Ton of memories watching it over and over again as a kid, and I love it. As for all the other ones, it's complicated. The second one I saw in theaters, and I was pretty young at the time. I would have told you I liked it, but it definitely did not have the kind of impact on me that the first one did. And rewatching it over the years, I wasn't all that into it. I've softened on it, especially on my most recent rewatch. I like the second one. It's nowhere near the first one. I think a lot of the action is rather weightless, and Neo is like a god in 95% of the movie, so there's no tension. But it still looks really cool a lot of the time. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. I do like a lot of the directions the story goes in, the philosophical musings and everything, the development of the characters. I do enjoy the second one. Matrix Revolutions, it gets worse as we go. That one, I do like the actual ending, luckily, but so much of the journey to get there is really boring because we spend so much time with all these side characters whose names I don't even know, and I don't care about them, and they're just in mechs, and there's a bunch of robots, and they're shooting bullets at the robots, and it's like, this is not what we cared about in The Matrix. We like the bullet time and the kung fu and the reality bending, and this is none of that. Can we please go back to Neo and Trinity and Smith? Please. And when we do, I like that stuff, and I do enjoy the climax quite a bit. I think it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I can watch it, but the entire journey of the third movie is nowhere near as good as something like The Matrix deserved for a conclusion. But it's not the conclusion, because there is in fact a fourth film, which I'll always remember the day that came out, because it came out on HBO Max the same day as theaters because of COVID, and I had broken my hand at the time, specifically this bone right here, and the day the movie came out was the day I was scheduled to have surgery to fix my hand, and I remember watching The Matrix Resurrections in the morning right before I went in to have surgery. So that was interesting. And the movie is unique. It has some interesting elements going for it, because basically Warner Brothers was like, we're gonna make a fourth Matrix movie no matter what, Lana Wachowski, so either you can direct it or we'll just get somebody else to make it anyway. And she was like, okay, fine, I'll make it. And then she made the movie a meta commentary on how she didn't want to make the movie. Which is like, oh, well, that's ballsy. That's intriguing. It was the kind of movie where, like, it took me a really long time to figure out whether or not I liked it. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Why are we still in the Matrix? What happened between 3 and 4? What are we trying to say? Like, through a large chunk of the movie, I'm very undecided on how I feel about it because it's so strange. And it's like, I need to see where this all goes. I need to see how this all wraps up before I can make a decision. And even now, I don't know if I've made a decision. It's hard to escape the pointless feeling of the whole thing. Like, the story ended in Revolutions, and now you're like, yeah, but even though we made a deal with the machines, they put us back in the Matrix anyway, and now we gotta fix it again. And it's like, oh, okay, well, does that mean in a few years you can make another movie where that didn't work and now we have to fix it again? Like, you know, it feels very pointless. It's definitely not necessary, and the action is nowhere near as good as the franchise deserves. That was kind of weird. Like, it's fine, but it does not stand up to the high standards of The Matrix, which is kind of the point. They have a whole discussion about that. Like, how can we recapture the magic? But, like, you could have tried harder to recapture the magic of the action, at least. But I respect the weirdness of it. And I do actually like what it does with Neo and Trinity and kind of giving them this happy ending. I think there's some cool elements to that. It's just very strange. I get why people don't like it. There are parts of it where I'm definitely like, this is just not needed. But it's also one that I can't really look away from because it's just so weird that it exists in the form that it does. It's one that I'm mixed on, and my opinions will go back and forth a lot as I rewatch it various times throughout my life, I'm sure. I don't know how often I'll rewatch it, because, you know, when I get to the end of the trilogy, that really feels like an ending, despite my problems with Revolutions. But, you know, I can throw on Resurrection sometimes, too. So there's that. Next up, we have a trilogy, and it is the Oceans trilogy. Never seen the original Oceans 11, but the Steven Soderbergh one is the one that people talk about all the time. It's a really fun heist movie with an incredible cast. I'm not really that big on the other two, especially 12. 13 was okay, but even that one, I just don't really remember much. It didn't really stick with me. It felt like a rehash. The first one really felt like it did it. It went all out with this incredible cast, putting together this fun, twisty heist, and it felt like that was what they had to offer. And then 12 and 13 were just kind of spent trying to do that again, trying to recapture that, and it never really felt like it was needed. And so I really only wanted 11. But the reason I bought the trilogy is because 11 has only individually been released in two ways. In the US, it was a steelbook, which is very out of print, and outside of the US, they did a regular 4K release. But this was on sale, so importing the 4K of Ocean's 11 would have actually been more expensive than just buying this on sale. So I have them. If I ever want to rewatch 12 and 13 and give them another chance, I can, but I mainly only got it for 11. I never even saw Ocean's 8, and apparently they want to make another one. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Now we got some more 4K movies. We got some horror with Lights Out, David F. Sandberg. I was about to say that I would like to see him go back to horror because he was doing the Shazam movies, but then I remembered that he did. He did go back to horror because he made Until Dawn, and I completely forgot momentarily that the Until Dawn movie existed. Did you forget that existed? I think you probably maybe did. Yeah, anyway. Lights Out is fun, though. This demon, this creature who can only appear in the darkness. They do some really clever, cool things with that, where the lights are flickering on and off, and you go back and forth being able to see it. I actually really enjoy the characters in the movie. There's some good scares. It's a fun one. I definitely recommend that if you just want, like, jump scares done well, because it's not just, like, your friend grabbing you on the shoulder and be like, whoa, it's just me, man. Like, you can do jump scares right. The way James Wan does them, the way something like this does them, where the thing is actually scary and the source of the terror is the thing you're supposed to be afraid of. It also just happens that there's a loud noise accompanying it, but those can be fun when they're done very well. Next up, I have Freaky from Christopher Landon. This is an interesting little body swap horror movie where Catherine Newton and Vince Vaughn, who is a serial killer, switch bodies. And there are some really good kills in this. He also did the Happy Death Day movies, and one of the main problems there was the PG-13 of it all. And then this one totally fixed that. I'd say I prefer Happy Death Day for the lead character and the comedy and just the time looping concept, but this is fun as well. This is a fun slasher, and it's great seeing the two of them try to play each other. That's an enjoyable one. Next up, we got a comedy. This is The 40-Year-Old Virgin on 4K. Don't know how much of the 4K upgrades really matter for something like this, but I grabbed it anyway. This is a really fun, really funny movie. I love the relationship. It's actually a really sweet story between Steve Carell and Catherine Keener that develops. Just a lot of the cast and everything. Everybody knows about this one. I don't think there's too much I need to say about it. But yeah, it's a very funny one. It also subverts expectations in interesting ways, like especially in the third act. It seems like it's building towards some kind of cliche drama that we're going to have to deal with, and then it just kind of doesn't. And I'm like, oh shit, great. Now we got the last 4K. I ordered some Christmas movies in December. They took a while to get here. Got here in January. But first of all, we got The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie? It's obviously both. If I had to pick one, I would say it's more Halloween. I feel like it's a Halloween movie that uses Christmas to tell its story rather than a Christmas movie that uses Halloween. But either way, I feel like it's best to watch it around like Thanksgiving, right in the middle. For me, it would fit more on Halloween because I can enjoy the Halloween vibes for the season we're in, but then also have the Christmas vibes to look forward to. That works better for me. But it also works around Christmas. It's cool. It's unique. I've never been like as high on it as a lot of people, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. It's very creative. I love the animation and the music. And by the way, speaking of the music, what is the most popular song? Is it This Is Christmas? No, it's This Is Halloween. So I'm just saying. But either way, it's a very cool blend of the two holidays. Next up, we got 3 Christmas movies. The Santa Claus collection. I've always enjoyed the first one. It's a little odd, if you murder Santa, you become him. Okay, but it's always been fun. It was one of those that was on TV all the time when I was a kid, and whenever it was on, it was always enjoyable to watch. Tim Allen's really good in the role. And I've always liked the second one too, where he has to find a wife with Elizabeth Mitchell. That's always been a good one. Not a fan of the third one. It's just on here. I'll probably never really watch it. That one was always just... That's where it really felt like, okay, we're pushing it. And then they made a show. I'm definitely not watching that. Next up, we have some Disney movies. I was recently going through some of the Disney movies that I either haven't seen or haven't seen in a very long time, and there were a couple that were on sale that I decided to get. This one in particular, I'm glad I finally watched. Treasure Planet. I never saw this until just like a couple weeks ago. It was always one of those that didn't really get talked about much. It didn't do well at the box office at all. But in more recent years, it has gotten kind of reappraised, and people have talked about how underrated it is, along with something like Atlantis. But I like this way more than Atlantis. I was super happy that I finally watched it. As soon as I finished it, I went to Amazon and bought it because I was like, oh, holy shit. It took me way too long to see this. This is actually kind of awesome. Like, it's a great aesthetic. This like cyberpunk or steampunk, retro futuristic, like they're sailing through space on a wooden pirate ship, and the designs of all of this, all the crazy shit they get up to in space, black holes, all the catastrophes they have to avoid. It's really exhilarating. It's really fun. I really like the journey of the main character. I've never read Treasure Island. I think the first exposure I ever got to anything Treasure Island related was when I saw The Page Master with Macaulay Culkin. You know what I'm talking about? But I've never read the book, so I don't really know the story. So I was very invested in this version of it, seeing the relationship between our main character and the villain, John Silver, and where that whole thing goes. It was really cool. It was really well done. I was emotionally invested. I thought it's aesthetically cool as shit. Once you get like the Martin Short robot character, I was like, okay, I don't know if I really need him. But other than that, this is really cool. If you missed Treasure Planet, this is a good one to check out. I'm really glad I finally saw it. Next up, we have one from my childhood. Oh no, I said 17 movies at the beginning. I'm a liar. It's 18 because I forgot. I totally forgot. This is The Fox and the Hound. It also contains The Fox and the Hound 2. There is no way to own Fox and the Hound on Blu-ray without the sequel. They have released this movie like 5 times, and every single edition comes with The Fox and the Hound 2. Why are you so desperate to put The Fox and the Hound 2 into my household? I don't want it. You don't need to do that. Nobody needs to see that. You just don't have to do it. Just put one movie on one disc and you're good. What is this push of The Fox and the Hound 2? You trying to give it more value by saying there's 2 movies on here? I haven't even seen The Fox and the Hound 2, okay? I can't really insult the thing, but I'm pretty sure I don't need to see it. Like, the story is done. What are you gonna do with a second one? It's utter nonsense. But yeah, let's just pretend that that's not on there. We'll just call this The Fox and the Hound. I watched this one a lot as a kid, And this recent rewatch was the first time I had watched it in a very long time, and I was wondering if it would hold up. I cried twice. So yeah. Yeah, it does. It's pretty rushed at the beginning, where like the fox and the hound meet each other, and immediately the soundtrack is like, we're best friends hanging out, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know about all that, but other than that, it's just a really good story. It's very emotionally hard-hitting about these two friends who are forced to be apart for these reasons that they don't understand, and it's very applicable to humanity, and it holds up. It's an emotional one. Next up, we got a classic. This is one that I didn't see as a kid. I watched it later in life, and I enjoy it quite a bit, and that is Sleeping Beauty. Aurora herself is probably like the worst Disney princess, because it's not even really her fault. She spends most of the movie asleep. She doesn't get a chance to do much. But even when she's awake, she's just like a girl, and that's her character. But I think they're a little bit self-aware. There is that one scene where she's talking to the prince, and she's like, he says, when can I see you again? And she goes, never. And he's like, never? And she says, okay, well, not never, later. And he's like, when? This evening, something like that. Like it gets, this time period gets shorter and shorter every time they say it. It's like Disney kind of being self-aware how rushed their princess romances are. But the main draw, most people will tell you, is Maleficent. Yeah, she's really cool. She's a real petty bitch. And if you view the movie as Maleficent and the fairies being the main characters, they really are. Like, that's how it's treated. Even though the movie's called Sleeping Beauty, the fairies and Maleficent, those are like the two main forces. And if you view the movie as their movie, and Aurora and the prince are just like the chess pieces being used in their game, it works much better if you view it like that. And I really like the visuals, the animation, the art, and everything. And it's just one of the classics. Had to grab it. And lastly, we have a season of TV that I have needed to watch for a long time, because for a decade I've heard nothing but amazing things about it, and so I finally got it because it was super cheap. True Detective, Season 1, The Long, Bright, Dark. I haven't watched any of the other ones. I know they are not considered as good at all, but are they worth watching? Even if I keep in mind that they're not as good, are they still okay? Or should I avoid them entirely? I don't know. But I grabbed this one. The only scene that I had ever seen from this show before actually sitting down to watch it was one scene in particular that features Alexandra Daddario, which is a phenomenal scene. I was ready to rate the show a 10 out of 10 just based on that scene alone. But the rest of the show is really good too. Great performances, especially Matthew McConaughey. I just really like the exploration of darkness of characters like this who submit themselves to the darkest and most depraved aspects of humanity and how that affects them, and just the jumping back and forth in time, how it was all structured. Really good. I watched it over the course of just like a couple days. I was very engaged by it. I'm glad I finally got to watch it. And I might go on to the other seasons just to check them out, just to see how they are, but I'm super happy that I finally watched this one. So yeah, True Detective. I was super behind on that. Everybody's been talking about it for so long, but I finally got there, guys. I finally watched it. So, if you want to talk about any of these, you have any more questions, try to keep it brief. I'm not giving full reviews for each of these. It would take forever. But if you want to talk about any of this at all, we can do so more down in the comments. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I hope to see you next time.